think we can hear my game, so I gotta turn down my speakers. Okay. We are back with Citizen Sleeper 2. First playthrough. Machinist Cycle 90. I don't remember where I was. I think I've got some scrap components, but not enough for... I have no dice. Alright. Belt. I suppose we're going to the Hollow, so that we can avoid the thing. Sleeper, Eugen takes you aside. I'm going to head into the Radius markets to find my contact, the one with the data on the Aphelion. You should come with. 2 sets of eyes are better than 1. Who is this contact, anyway? Hello, I see you. Welcome in. Happy Sunday. I guess. I don't know. I keep up too much with the news. Who is this contact, anyway? You know how it is. A man never reveals his contacts. Eugen winks. He's just an old friend, one I've traded favors with a few times, and who has a good nose for data trails. But trails run cold quickly, so we should get on his. Eugen grins and heads for the airlock. You watch him go, unsure what his swagger might hide, but you've come this far with him. Maybe it's time to see where it all leads. Okay. Jetty, Radius Markets. Alright, I have Horrible Engage. We're gonna go with the Glitch Die. Oof, negative energy. Glitch Die again. Ooh, Ghosted Contact. I prefer 50-50. Oof. You notice the signal changers and data fences tend to keep to themselves, tucked away in little tunnels. Let's hide this. Bella gets fresh supplies from the green belt. Okay. Core cryo, huh? The hollow core. Okay, I did not think. We're gonna end the cycle. We really have no other choice. Alright. The hollow heart. I think my interface is decent, even with the 20 to 80 neg. Oof. I know I don't have engage. My engage is terrible. So we're going to go with intercept signals. Oh, debris dealers. Buy fuel, buy scrap, sell process scrap. I can sell scrap. Or rather, process scrap. Which I have a decent amount of. And that way, I can make some money without having to use dice. That's so nice. Take my process scrap. Give me crow. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Bella's Jetty. I don't need that yet. Where? Here. The market. Intuition is 0. Engage is negative. Okay, we got it. The Radius markets surround you and Eugen. Much of the architecture of the Starward Belt is built on a Solheim foundation. As a corporation from the core, Solheim structures tend towards cardinal directions, towards respecting gravity in a place where it has little effect. But the Radius markets have no such bias, and no singular direction. Instead, the stalls and shops, built from scrap frame and hull plate, project outwards from all 8 of the surrounding walls. The effect is overwhelming, with activity and interest in all directions. Between windows that open to faint stars, scrap dealers, street food vendors, data fences, and tailors to compete for the attention of the stream of customers drifting around you. Sleeper. Eugen draws close to get your attention, his voice barely raised. Take a look. He jerks his head, motioning down the market. You refocus your attention, your eyes drawn to a group of dark-suited spacers with shaved heads. 5 of them gathered around another retreating figure. The spacers are noticeably distinct from the rest of the crowd, their tight, complex suits kept in pristine condition and all the same design, a rarity amidst the Starward Belt's ramshackle fashions. You see one of them is gesticulating aggressively, chopping the air with his hand. Hello, Anan-chan, welcome in. Good to see you, it's been a while. I forgot what I was doing. Eugen nudges you again. Not the singers. You glance at him, unsure of the term. The ones they are threatening. The one they are threatening. Eugen starts to move forward, his eyes fixed on the group. That's my contact. I've been wanting to do the spooky streams. I am not doing well. I am barely hanging on. But that's okay. I will continue just as the horrors continue. It's okay. It's not physically anything wrong with me. It's more emotionally things are wrong in the world. I will accept your hugs. Thank you. You turn back to the group, the singers, as Eugen called them, and see they're rounding on the figure now. Their body language is clear. This is about to come to blows. Eugen clearly sees the shift too. Before you can say a word, he is off, gliding hard through the crowds towards them. You gave chase without thinking, kicking off the nearest strut, angling yourself through the central void of the market behind Eugen. Thank you, Anan-chan. Eugen doesn't stop. He barrels straight into the singers, sending 2 of them spinning into the crowd, to a chorus of shouts and protests. My engage is terrible, so we're gonna calm the situation. We got a positive outcome. You hold out your arms and try to talk them down, calling to Eugen. The singers gather around you, but they don't start throwing punches yet. One of them comes forward, meeting your eye. You hear one of the others call him Peter. Their leader, perhaps? This idiot with you? Peter nods towards Eugen, who is wrestling with one of the crew. He whistles and the singer disengages and moves away. Yes. Yes, this guy's with me. Can you ask him to calm down, please? You see Peter's hand is resting on a dark shape at his hip. So, Peter looks between the 2 of you. Do you have a reason for interrupting my business? He gestures around, and while some people have moved on, a few are hanging back to watch what comes next. You were about to jump my friend, Eugen nods at the contact, who is quietly watching with a concerned look on his face. The comment sends a small rumble of conversation around the remaining crowd. It seems the singers aren't so popular here. I think you misunderstood. We were simply asking for information. He shoots a sharp smile at the contact. I think Lewis has told you everything he's happy to share. Eugen shoots a glare at his contact, who nods sheepishly. Oh no. Peter looks between all of you and then surveys the crowd. One of the singers starts to interrupt, but Peter raises a hand and silences them. See you around then. He smiles a sharp smile at Eugen and leads the other singers away into the crowd, which parts slightly as they enter it. Louis, Eugen rounds on the smaller figure. How about... Not here, Louis interrupts. He sighs. Come with me. I love the design. There's a communicator and a button. And lots of gear. I suppose it would be easier when you're out in zero gravity to have a bunch of stuff on you like that. Louis leads you away from the open market, most of the crowd having dispersed into a small passageway. He finds a hatch, opens it, and beckons you both through before slipping inside it, closing it behind you. So, what business did you have with the singers? Eugen perches on a stool in the small workshop, picking up a tool from the mag strip above the bench and turning it over in his hands. Singers? Is that what you call them? Louis looks nervous. The first I've known of them is when they turned up a few cycles back and started pressing me for info. I've run into some singers before. Not these ones, but they all dress the same. Eugen glances between you and Louis. They are refugees out of Ember's Song, one of the moons that has a giant gas in the inner system. Their moon is a volcanic hellhole, so while these guys are refugees fleeing the war like most, they tend to be tough as hell and aren't used to being told no. That part checks out. Louis smiles a weak smile. They've been pressing me for data for cycles ever since they showed up. My data? Eugen clicks the tool back on the mag strip and fixes Louis with a hard stare. You've been shopping it around then? Trying to drive a bidding war? Louis holds up his hands. No, nothing like that. He's afraid of Eugen, and you worry why that might be. I just wanted to verify the data. I asked around. Someone I showed it to, well, they mentioned a fraction drive. You see Eugen bristle with anger. Louis keeps talking, speeding up. That was all, but a couple of cycles later, these singers, as you call them, started showing up, and I had to hide myself away. Had to run the data business when you can't even go out to meet your clients. That's why you went quiet? Louis turns to you, seemingly glad to not have to look at the angry Eugen. Exactly, Louis sighs. I also had to focus on getting the story straight, because what I was told, well, it's quite the tale. The friend I showed it to, he told me he's heard about that ship before, mostly what he thought were rumors, about a fraction drive ship. Apparently, when Solheim collapsed, there was a struggle over who got to take it. 2 execs from the old corporate hierarchy wanted it, and some of their underlings found out about it too. Those wrecks you visited, that was the site of a battle over the thing. The ship was a hot ticket even then. You think back to the twisted and blasted remains of the ships, the wreckage strewn across the asteroid. You wonder how many died to try to get the Aphelion path and its golden drive. Seems like both execs got spaced, but someone came back later, slipped the ship out of the wreck that was carrying it. Here's the funny thing. Rather than use it, they dismantled it. They took the ship apart here at the Hollow. Hell, there's probably strutwork from the Aphelion path in this very station. Louis looks around all the salvaged compartment. You are all inside. So it's gone? Not quite, Louis smiles, enjoying telling the story now. They weren't stupid enough to dismantle an interstellar drive. The story goes that they buried it on a rock out in the shoals, totally unmarked. With thousands of rocks out there, they could leave it as long as they wanted and come back when they were ready. The thing is, they never came back. Eugen finishes the sentence, his anger fading now. Bingo, Louis grins as he holds up a thumbnail drive, and I've got the coordinates of the beacon that will lead you there. Eugen snatches it from his fingers. Should have led with that. Louis sighs deeply. That's just the start of the trail, no doubt, but it'll get you there if you manage to follow it. Eugen nods at you and goes to leave, his hands immediately on the container hatch. Hey, Louis rushes up. Aren't you going to pay for that? Not after you leak the fraction drive exists to your friend, the singers, and anyone else who's looking. No. Eugen pulls the door open. Keep it quiet next time. Louis turns to you. Come on, friend. The singers chased away my clients. He shows you his upturned palms. 50 cryo for the effort, or just whatever you have. I'll take it. I'm desperate. Sure. You pass him a stack of chits, and he clasps your hand. I appreciate it. He looks over your shoulder to see Eugen is still there. Hey, look. Be careful with that one, all right? He's not to be trusted. You turn, and Eugen is already gone. You follow him out the container. Time to go find a fraction drive. New contract on the map. Okay, let's intercept some signals then. Oh, we discovered a new location. Sunward Pole. Ooh! I can help with repairs. I'm gonna help with repairs. I don't care what Eugen wants. Okay, we should buy some supplies. Give one to the cat. I can hold off and buy a meal tomorrow. I'm gonna buy fuel. And I guess go home and lay down. And my cycle. Do. We are engaging in some escapism. Don't mind us. Ha 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 ha. There's a signal ship. We can interpret signals. A signal ship gathers broad spectrum signals from across the debris field. Sorting them is too much work for just the crew. And then if we get Solheim data, we can sell it. Or I can come here where I can help with repairs and get only good results because I'm an engineer. There we go. What do you mean, fried, Kimball? Our station depends on that array. The voice echoes out of one of the Sunward Pole's cramped bays, tucked up in the ceiling of the hollow. Though you are tired from a shift spent sealing leaks in this shattered section of the station, you can't help but listen in. I have been patient, Kimball, but now, with the repairs almost done, you're telling me we can't broadcast anyway? The voice comes from the doorway nearby, and as you float past, you glance inside. You see a woman facing away, addressing the back of a man half buried in the guts of some complex machine. I'm sorry, Kimball, she concludes, but that just feels malicious. The man, presumably Kimball, mumbles something in response, though you do not catch it through the wires and mechanisms that surround him. The woman quickly turns and spots you peering in through the doorway. She gives you a curious look. Oh, she quickly smiles. Hello, she closes the distance. I'm Serene. She offers a hand. I've seen you working on the repairs. She tilts her head. We appreciate your efforts. Happy to help. Serene looks over your shoulder at Kimball and then back at you. How do you feel? She pauses, calculating, about the war in the inner system. It's corporate cruelty. It's worrying for the Belt. I don't know much about it. I agree, which is why the Belt needs to stay informed about it. Do you know that Senate Stat has already started shipbuilding at Sinza? Serene watches you for your response. Senate Stat? Are you kidding me, right? The corporation that started up the CAN channel at the heart of the system triggered the war with Conway? She glances back at Kimball. You hearing this? You hear a grunt from Kimball, his head still buried in the machine's innards, and it's unclear if it's in reference to what was said, or just the sound of repairs going poorly. We, Serene places a hand on her chest, are the Hellion Dispatches, the only pirate radio station in the Starward Belt. She lifts her chin proudly. We keep the system up to date on shifts in the system's power structures and the ongoing corporate war. all through the voices of the Hellion system's own residents. Kimball grunts again, and a shower of sparks bursts from the machine behind Serene. Or at least we did, before our transmitter got fried. Serene suddenly looks crestfallen. What happened? All that repair work you've been giving your time to, that was all caused by a Conway autonomous munition trained on our scent. Serene's eyes flash with anger. A mumble comes from Kimball as he pushes a handful of wiring out of his way. I do know that for sure, Kimball. Why else would it come so deep in the bell to hit the hollow at our broadcast site? Serene turns back, hands on hips. Kimball responds with a shrug. Either way, straight after that attack, we found our gear had been tampered with. Sabotaged. Kimball grunts. Yes, Kimball, or just looted. Either way, we are now quiet, and when we are quiet, the war continues unobserved. Serene folds her arms, looking away, defeated. What do you need? Look, we need a new broadcast array, a better broadcast array. Serene glances over her shoulder. We don't quite have the reach we'd like. Where you get one, that's another problem. We're talking about pre-collapse tech here. It's not something we can just build ourselves. Kimball mutters something from the depths of the machine. Yeah, Holmes Rock isn't a bad idea, Serene replies. It used to be a relay station for Solheim, so it stands to reason they'd have arrays. And then there's the terminal there. Kimball's been bugging me to dig out some engine components for him to crack open and use in his repairs. God knows what kind of repairs he'd need those for, but that's what he says. Serene looks over her shoulder at Kimball, but receives no response. You both stare at his broad shoulders for a moment as a thin trail of smoke begins to emerge from the machine. Now, maybe we can do a little fundraising here on the Hollow. What we can get, we'll happily hand over, but I'm telling you now, it won't be a lot. I'll see what I can do. We'd appreciate it. Hell, the people of the Hellion system would appreciate it. She glances over her shoulder. I think Kimball would appreciate it too. He leaves Serene and Kimball to their repairs, making note of the engine components and wideband array they will need to get back on the air. It's hard to tell if the job will be worth your time, but then again, someone as knowledgeable as Irene might be a useful asset. Okay, now is time to buy a meal. And probably feed the cat. You put the supplies into the special feeder Bliss set up. The stray waits until you are outside the room to come eat. Okay, refill my supplies. And then that's the Aphelion beacon. Huh. Oh, I'd have to go all the way back over there. Well, I don't know how long. But we're gonna go there. For our good friend, Hugin. You wake to something soft and furry rubbing against your nose. The stray! You sit bolt upright. The stray kicks off from your bunk and settles on the ceiling, back curled up, looking down at you accusingly with those big eyes. Sorry. The stray gently pushes off the ceiling with a soft paw and descends to the edge of your bunk, where it hooks its front claws into the mattress pad. Seeing the cat move in zero-G is still odd. It seems to come naturally to it, and yet its shape is so connected to gravity and weight in your mind. A cat should have the heavy, soft form of a mammal, not the languid, liquid presence of the floating thing in front of you. The stray uses its hook claws to twist and spin itself, so it softly slides against you with its back, rubbing up against your arm and purring. You know what it wants. scratch behind the stray's ears, and the cat pushes its head back against your hand. The stray closes its eyes and purrs. It's funny to think how the stray got here. Perhaps on a ship from the inner system, slipping on at the Eye or Sintra, and before that, its ancestors were perhaps carried out to Hellion by Solheim executives who had the power and arrogance to bring a cat into space. But this cat, the one on your ship, was born here. That much is obvious. It is a creature of zero gravity, a being that orbits and glides, not one that leaps and stalks. It pats at your hand, encouraging you to continue petting. It is an animal that is part of the crew now. You can't imagine the rig without her. As you look down at the stray, as nameless and inhuman as you are, the memory returns. The warmth of atmosphere-filtered sun, the weight of flesh and fur, the smell of growing things. You know now what this memory is. It couldn't be more obvious. It's a memory that crossed the gap of your creation, a memory from a mind that was copied, emulated to make your own. It is to be discarded, or it is a part of you. Pretty sure it's a part of us. I'm gonna say that. This memory is, in the end, a mistake. Those who designed the sleepers never intended you to carry the memories of the minds that were copied for your creation. They wanted you to emerge as new beings, offshoots from a branch of a human's life, to be cut short when needed. But mistakes can so often become the most powerful and meaningful of emblems. They can guide a being more strongly than any success ever could. And yes, I'm pulling out more candy. That's because at the heart of every mistake is the possibility of change, a shift in the status quo. You have lived a life of mistakes as much as a life of successes. And look where it has brought you. So you accept the memory and let it wash over you like the sun. You focus on the stray, and as you do, both memories combine. You are stroking both cats, separated by time and space, feeling both sets of sensations in double exposure. This doubling is what defines you. You are multiple, branched, diverse. You make no apologies for this, and you know that you will only accumulate more selves, more variants, as you persist. You claim the mistake and the possibility it offers you. You settle in your berth, delaying the moment of waking, of greeting the cycle a little longer, sharing an unspoken solidarity with the stray that is more expansive than any words could capture. You find Olivera exactly where Ankita said it would be, a ragged colony nestled in a crater on one of the biggest rocks in the shoals. Seraphine gets no response to his initial broadcast, so you find yourself in a docking tunnel, the rig at one end, the colony at the other, with no idea what awaits you. I need you to get back on that ship and keep flying. You freeze in the dark tunnel, a figure in front of you, holding a long gun at their hip. I'm serious. Your eyes adjust to the dark, and as they do, you see a man. No, a boy, carrying a long dark shape in his hands. I don't know how you found us, but you need to leave right now and forget this place. You glance over your shoulder and see Seraphine, his hands raised in front of him in a gesture of calm. Look, kid, we mean no harm. How about you go run and get someone? I am someone. I'm Xander. He sticks out his jaw. It's you I don't know, and I'll decide who's gonna do some harm here. He reaches across his chest and thumbs on a lamp he has lashed there. You blink in the glare of the bright light, shielding your eyes, And as you do, you see a flicker of confusion crossing Xander's face. He meets your eye with a look of shock and opens his mouth as if to speak, though no words emerge. We have something for Carmen. You notice the familiar name register with Xander, adding to whatever confusion or question your appearance has provoked. You see his eyes taking in your sleeper body, his gun dropping a little as he takes his attention off it. Is this? He looks between you and Seraphin. Are you here for Flint? He pulls the gun closer to himself. I'll be honest, kid. We have no idea who you're talking about. Seraphin allows himself to drift a little forward. So, how about you drop the gun and we can talk like adults? As Seraphin floats past you, he gives you a look that makes you nervous. We're just here to deliver something. Xander? The voice echoes along the docking bridge. Xander, what are you doing? A figure appears at the end of the bridge behind Xander. A young woman clearly older than the boy in front of you. Found these two trying to sneak in, Cadence. Xander keeps his eyes on you and Seraphin as he speaks. Saboteurs, maybe? Was about to send them on their way. Xander grins. I assure you, we are not saboteurs, miss. Seraphin smiles at Cadence. Cadence sighs and glides towards Xander. Stop messing around with that welder. She snatches the gun out of Xander's hands, and as she does, both you and Seraphin reflexively flinch. Candace looks at the two of you with a raised eyebrow and turns the gun so you can see it better. You notice the fuel tank and welding muzzle. It probably has an effective range of less than half a foot. Seraphin looks at Xander and rolls his eyes. Seriously? Cadence lowers the welder to her side and turns to Xander. Now is not the time. We just got an emergency broadcast from Carmen and Flint. Something's happened. Xander's attitude changes immediately. He turns to face Cadence, pulling his back to you, as if you had just disappeared completely. What do you mean something's happened? I don't know. They went quiet in the shoals. All we got was a distress signal. Cadence raises her hands reassuringly. Don't get excited. They probably just had a technical fault on the ship, but we should check in anyway. We have to get them. Xander grabs the welder back and slings it over his shoulder. In what, Xander? They took our only functioning ship. The Tendertide's still in pieces in the hangar. Seraphin gives you a nudge. Nods towards Cadence and Xander. This is your chance. We have a ship. Xander wheels around in the tunnel, squinting at you in thought. Seraphin moves past you, approaching them. We need to see Carmen, and it seems like Carmen needs our help. He looks between the two of them. So how about we stop messing around in this dingy tunnel and go get your friend? Xander turns back to Cadence. Them? Really? He rolls his eyes. We're not the only people on Olivera. There must be other ships. You want to go looking? They're here now. Cadence, not Candace. Ugh. Cadence looks at Seraphin, and they are generously offering to help. She smiles sheepishly. Fine, Xander folds his arms, but I'm coming with you. Fine by us. Seraphin shakes his head and looks at you. Come on then. You both turn and head back onto the ship. Seraphin whispering as you do. What kind of backwater has Ankita sent us to? He sighs. This kid thinks he's some kind of sheriff. Not used to visitors, I guess. He's just a kid. Let's just find Carmen. Seraphin nods. Agreed. What are we talking about? Xander catches up with you and Seraphin. His mood seemed buoyed by the prospect of boarding a ship. You wonder how often he gets to leave Riviera. You, Seraphine snickers. Xander looks genuinely hurt for a second. I forgot he's a kid. I was just being honest. But, being honest is not always the best policy. Ugh, I'm sorry. Wait up. You turn to see Cadence gliding up the tunnel. I changed my mind. I'm coming too. Give me a minute to grab some supplies. She glances at Xander, just in case. Seraphine cuts in. I'll give you a hand. That all right, Sleeper? We'll be there in a sec. He looks at you. You pause, but Seraphine doesn't seem to be waiting for confirmation as he and Cadence head back into the dock. You are slightly thrown off by his eagerness to be helpful. This is the first time you've actually seen him be welcoming to anyone coming on board the rig. When you get to the cockpit, you notice Xander looking wide-eyed at the console and switches. Cool ship, he grins. After a short wait, Cadence and Seraphine come back into the cockpit. All loaded up. Seraphine pats Xander on the shoulder. Might want to strap in there, kid. Xander and Cadence find a place to settle as Seraphine buckles himself into the flight seat. All right, he turns to Xander. Show us where to go. Oh, that's fun. You head out into the shoals, the thick debris field that surrounds Olivera. What's happening in here, Sleeper? Bliss pokes their head out to the cockpit as Seraphine brings the ship in towards the signal coordinates that Xander gave him. You look around the cockpit. Xander is tapping at the co-pilot console mounted in front of his seat in a haphazard way, while Cadence is asking Seraphine about how the rig works. Surprisingly, Seraphine is responding with patience and care. They'll help us find Carmen. If you say so. Bliss looks over at Seraphine and Cadence. Is Seraphine smiling? They shake their head. Something is going on. Bliss turns back to you. Junie is working on the ship's wiring and won't respond to my messages. She's probably in the walls somewhere, hooked up to the main line. They smile a weak smile. I'm here, so how about you tell me what we are doing out in the middle of nowhere? Quiet. Seraphine's voice cuts through the chatter. Is that? He gestures out into the debris field at a sparking, ragged-looking shape tucked beside a rock. Xander rushes to the cockpit glass. Carmen. A moment of tense silence grips the room. That's his ship. You and Bliss exchange concerned glances. This isn't good. I'll bring her in. Seraphine's eyes are fixed on the wreck of the crumpled ship now. We don't know anything yet, so everyone calm down. Xander is silent, his face pressed against the glass. Cadence stares out at the wreck, her cheeks pale. No one speaks until the rig is brought to a stop. All right. Now, we are going out there, and we'll have a poke around. Seraphine looks between Cadence and Xander. We verify the ship, and we recover the crew. Seraphine gives you and Bliss a nod as you both push off and glide towards the back of the cockpit. Suddenly, Xander pushes off from the window and glides with you, out of the cockpit. I'm coming too. You need someone to identify the ship. To identify... He stops and takes a breath. Of course. Xander nods to you, tight-lipped and pale. You head to the airlock to suit up. Carmen ship. Okay, he's got endurance. Bliss has good intuition. Alright. My intuition is nothing to sneeze at, but my endurance is terrible. Oh, I got some stress. It's okay, I can handle the most stress. Okay. Well, that's as far as we're gonna go here, I think. I don't feel like we're gonna do that in one. Oh. Okay. Next time. End the cycle there. Alright. Bliss. And then the kid. Alright. We got the wreck assessment done. The search of Carmen's gutted ship has impacted the mood in the rig. As more and more evidence of an attack has appeared, the quieter Xander has got, and the more Cadence has retreated into the bunks. Now, with the search complete, you gathered in the cockpit to discuss what's been found. Come on, Cadence floats by the door, hugging herself against the cold. Tell us already. Xander is perched on the back of one of the seats, flicking at some hinged container he found in the wreck. Open and closed. Open and closed. I'm blunt, but I'm gonna try to be careful. You start by summarizing the search, talking around the details, picking your language carefully. You describe the damage to the ship but not the attack. You talk about the occupants of the ship without mentioning what might have happened to them. Seraphine quickly cuts in. What Sleeper is saying, he gives you a look, is that the ship was hit with weapons fire, badly. Then the drive was fired up, and they attempted to flee. The drive burnt out, and the ship, after hitting multiple rocks and bits of debris, came to a halt here. He takes a breath. We have found no bodies. At the mention of the word bodies, a shudder runs through those assembled. Then they are here, somewhere. Xander has a steely look in his eyes. And we find them, whatever state they're in. He looks at Candace. Cadence. Why do I keep calling her Candace? That's not your name. Your name is Cadence. She nods back at him. Xander's right. We aren't leaving them out here. Carmen made Oliveira what it is. He saved us. We won't come back without him. She shivers and looks at Xander. He would do the same for us. Based on the damage to the ship, Seraphine begins. They're almost certainly dead. We get it. Xander cuts him off. But there are debris trails leading away from the ship. I've seen them. There are. Seraphine holds his hands out in a calming manner. But those could be from secondary explosions or depressurization. We picked the wrong trail, and it could lead us in circles, cycle after cycle. Then we better pick the right one. Cadence has Xander's steely look now, too. She stares directly at Seraphine, challenging him to answer back. He sighs. Then that's what we'll do. He looks at you with resignation. Whatever's happened here, you won't be leaving until you see its end. Okay, let's try this one then. Okay. This isn't leading us anywhere, Sleeper. Bliss's voice comes over the comms. I'm sorry, but we have to call it. You look out at the scattered debris, gleaming in the sunlight. Bliss is right. This trail is going nowhere. If Carmen and Flint did head out from the ship this way, there's no way you'll find them. And if they didn't, there are still more places to look. Bliss interrupts with your thoughts. We won't give up on them yet. You think of Xander and Cadence and how they must feel right now. The search must continue. Applejacks. Hello, hello. Okay. We're gonna interface again. Alright, now we gotta end the cycle. Oh. I'm doing okay, Apple. How are you? Oh, I can't do the repair thing right now. I'm out on a job. Oh, that sucks. How are you doing? Did you have a good weekend? I hope you had a good weekend. Okay, a neutral outcome. Oof. This trail is dead, Sleeper. Seraphin sighs over the comms. It's going nowhere. You have to agree, picking through the debris has been nothing but an exercise in futility. And now, coming to a dead end, you aren't even sure if there's anything to find out here at all. Loop back to one of the other trails, Sleeper. Seraphin pauses. We're going to keep going. What else can you do? You just hope, for Xander and Cadence's sake, you find something soon. We're gonna map the debris. Okay. Bliss, you gotta work with me. Ah. Okay. One more cycle. And then we should get through all the debris trails. I shouldn't have gone with the sunward one first off. That was my thing. I did that. Okay, and your endurance is fairly good. Let's go ahead. Oof. I've crushed Xander's spirit. Light. The trail leads to these barren and airless caves. It's hard to imagine someone surviving in here for long. It's okay. We won't make it to them before they die, because I took my time going through all the worst places. Alright, well, Xander's out. We gotta end the cycle. If only I had gotten that lamp. Oh no. And my dice broke. Of course it broke. Oh. Oh no, Bliss is down. Now it's just me and my 2 dice. Okay, well, I did that. We are trudging forward. Our supplies are empty. Well, if I get good results for all of these, then we are not gonna make it today. And I'm about to crush my own spirit. Okay. Okay. Neutral outcome. Nope. Okay. Well, we're too freaking stressed. And I have 1 dice. I have 1 dice. Come on. Come on, my 1 dice. Nope. Okay. and my other dice is gonna break. We're gonna die out here. It started as a creeping dullness, something that drew you further from the world, cycle by cycle. But now, in this moment of waking, it is a shifting pain. It jumps across your body, faster than you can follow, and you jerk against it. As you do, a numbness starts to spread across your skin, as if you are sinking into cold water. The pain dances across the numbness, as if you are skimming across its surface. But then, as you submerge, it becomes distant, and you realize you are leaving this body, your frame. Suddenly, something pulses inside you, some system you have never felt before. As it does, you feel yourself external to your frame, remaining on the surface. You don't feel your limbs or your organs. You barely have your thoughts. You are a pulsing point, a compressed self, flickering out. You see figures, unrecognizable shadows gathering around you. You feel the tug of a single thread, binding you to your frame, keeping you from floating away. And at the end of that thread, something pulses and glows and rebuilds itself in a new, more unstable form. Your frame will recover, but it will be changed this cycle. It will bear the weight of keeping you alive. It will break some part of itself, or yourself, so you may persist. You watch as it does and anticipate waking into this newly distorted self. Then you are awake, somehow together, somehow apart, in pain and a little more broken than before, not knowing if your survival is a miracle or a burden. You have gained a permanent glitch. A permanent glitch is represented in red on your glitch clock and will not be expended when rolling a glitch die. You now have a chance of rolling a glitch dice every cycle. This cannot be fixed. Okay. Finally. Asteroid caves, twisted tunnels in a dark rock. When the starward trail led to the caves, a little hope was kindled in the hearts of the crew, but after plumbing the depths of these dark passages, that hope seemed snuffed out. Xander has struggled on in silence, only speaking to update Cadence on the lack of news via the cockpit comms link. But he speaks now, quietly at first, and then with increasing urgency. "A light, Sleeper! I see a light!" And with that, he kicks off hard from the wall and darts down a dark tunnel with reckless speed. You follow, but the tunnels are winding, and you quickly lose Xander around a corner. You kick off from the same wall, trying to close the gap. But when you come around that same corner, you can't find Xander anywhere. And then you see it. Through a thin slit in the cave wall, a flickering, fading light. You cross over to it, see scratches and chunks scraped out of the rock. Someone has dragged something through here. You click your comms to Xander's channel and call out to him. Nothing but static and silence greets you. A flashing red light on your comms panel suggests the signal isn't getting through. You push away some of the floating rock and squeeze yourself into the gap. As you do, you watch the light pulsing inside the cave, setting the cracks and shapes of the rock in sharp relief. You search those shadows for something recognizable, but the light source remains out of sight. And then you are through. You steady yourself against the wall and look towards the light. There, beside a fading emergency lamp, floats a body, its head instantly striking you as strange and misshapen. You know immediately this must be Carmen. His head is shrouded in an emergency helmet inflated around him like a balloon, while an oxygen canister floats nearby attached to a tube. His eyes are closed, his body still. You try to settle your gaze on his chest to see the telltale rise and fall, and then the light catches something else. Something broken and skeletal nearby. A face with bright eyes watching you. A sleeper. Another sleeper. They watch you with lit irises, one's just like yours. Their torn face reveals no emotion. They pose crouched, coiled even, like a spring ready to strike. You're both frozen, unsure, afraid. Nothing moves. Your eyes trace the damage to their suit, to their body. They look broken, worn down, and you wonder if this is how you look to others, if they flinch when they see you, as you feel the need to now. Carmen! Xander's panicked voice cuts through the silence. He rushes forward to the floating body, and as he does, the other sleeper pulls away from the wall, like a statue coming to life. For a moment, you go to intervene, to save Xander from the skeletal figure, but the sleeper falls on Xander to embrace him, and Xander returns the hug. You float stunned, watching as Xander begins to carry Carmen's body from the cave, with Flint, the sleeper, guiding him. Carmen is stable. Cadence comes out from the room that has become a makeshift medbay. She looks between you and Seraphin. Thanks to you. Glad to hear it. Cadence smiles a bright smile. We should head back to Olivera. Seraphin cuts in. He places a hand on your shoulder and steers you away towards the cockpit. Once you're out of earshot, Seraphin turns to you. Did you know Flint was a sleeper? No. Seraphin nods. He pauses. I don't want to be suspicious. I was just surprised. That's all. Seraphin looks back towards the medbay. They look different. What do you mean? Different how? Seraphin sighs, unsure of his words. Just never seen a sleeper like that. He looks away. I'll go get her started up. He pats you on the shoulder and heads to the cockpit. Let's just keep an eye on them, okay? He leaves you floating in the corridor, unsure what to think. Flint is the first sleeper you have met since you escaped the program, and at this point, those memories are little more than fragments and fictions. As the rumble of the drive runs through the ship, you can't help but feel a little concerned for what this might mean. -5 stress during travel. You are left alone with Xander and Seraphin in the docks while Carmen is carefully carried from the rig by Flint, guided away into one of Olivera's many tunnels and passages. Okay, I believe you. Xander shrugs his shoulders. Seraphin raises an eyebrow. Believe us how? That you aren't saboteurs. He shoots you a sheepish grin. Although, you never know. I appreciate that. I'd forgotten that. Stay silent. No problem. He nods to you with the kind of seriousness that only children possess. Tell me, kid. Seraphin folds his arms. Why are you so protective of this place? I mean, no offense, but who'd want to sabotage a 10-pot colony in the middle of the shoals? Xander bristles at the comment, but controls his anger. You don't get it. Olivera is a refuge. Why do you think we're hiding all the way out here? He glances at you, and then back at Seraphin. I would have thought you'd understand what's at stake here. You've seen Flint. Seraphin pauses, unsure how to respond. He looks embarrassed into silence. Look, Xander says, playing the peacemaker, you brought Carmen back to us. Everyone in Olivera will thank you for that. How about you stick around for a bit and get a feel for the place? If you need to resupply, we can help. We haven't got much, but if you chip in, you'll get your share. He bows his head a little. We're more welcoming than we appear. Just don't expect to buy anything with those chits of yours. Xander puts his hands on his hips. Olivera is not for sale. Alright, kid. We appreciate it. We need to hang around until Carmen is back up and awake anyway. I think we'll be glad of the rest. I'll see you around then. Xander touches his brow in a salute and then kicks away, floating out the docks. Seraphin turns to you. A little shore leave doesn't sound so bad. I agree. Seraphin smiles. All right then, he stretches. I'm going to head into town and see what's happening. He winks and glides away into Olivera proper. You are left floating in the docks, unsure of what comes next. It doesn't seem like Lane is going to find you out here, so maybe this is the perfect time to take a breather, or at least until you can bring Ankita's drive to Carmen. You turn that little thumbnail drive over in your pocket. Time to see what Olivera has to offer. I know, I'm already starving. Okay. Oh my god, I'm terrible at engage. At least I was given some food. As you leave the rig, you find a figure waiting for you in the docking tunnel. You think of Xander's hostile greeting when you first arrived. Is that him again? Where are you headed? Flint leans away from the wall, now out of the battered suit you first saw him in. The damage to their frame is concealed beneath their overalls, but you're still aware of it, just beneath the surface. Scrap sorting? Same. Flint nods in the direction of the colony. I'll join you. You float together through the docks in silence. Flint makes you nervous, and their insistence on intercepting you this cycle hasn't exactly calmed that sensation. Breaking the silence eventually becomes unavoidable. Why Flint? Flint stares ahead, continuing their glide. Ask Carmen. He insisted on it. The mention of Carmen's name recalls the image of him floating unconscious in the light of your work lamps in those deep, winding caves. You suppress a shudder. Flint gives you a sideways look, the mask-like face betraying no emotion. It's good you found us. They pause as you both move through a doorway. Could have been sooner. They blink. But better than nothing. I'm sorry, I went all the wrong ways. Looking at Flint gives you an unsettling feeling, like catching your own reflection in a polished hull plate. Is this what others feel like when they speak with you? Watching the crooked mask, the lit irises, for signs of human emotion? Interpreting the stuttering emulations of facial expressions as they cross your doll-like face? Continue. Flint looks away again, and you realize they might feel the same looking at you, each the other's mirror, each reminding the other of the gap between being and being seen. How did you escape? Escape SNARP, you mean? Flint pauses. We aren't there yet, friend. We can share war stories another time. You arrive together into the cavernous hall containing the scrap silos, the cacophonous echoing of sorting already filling the air. So, Sleeper. Flint's face curls in amusement as he uses the mononym everyone refers to you by. Oliveira asks all of those who it harbors to contribute to the colony. Show me what you can do. Whoop whoop. You and Flint glide into the sorting bay, where a scrap from the silos is delivered into the waiting workers, ready to be checked, cleaned, and cast into different nets at the fringes of space. You find a sorting station and begin picking up chunks of machine and chip, turning them over in your hands. As you inspect the scrap, the ghost of their original place in a bigger structure becomes apparent. Each piece suggests a hole, a drive casing, a loading bay, a life support unit. You burn away corrosion with the touch, crack open rusted casings to release the components inside like seeds. You find new life in the broken and discarded pieces. Something makes you look to one side, a glint that catches your eye, and there is Flint taking a rest of their own. You see a glint again, Flint turning something over in their fingers, watching it spin. A vial of stabilizer. My last vial, Flint speaks through, without taking their eye off the drug. Even through the haze of your lost memories, you can recall the fizzing, sickening pulse of that injection. The dependence your reboot freed you from. Saving it for a special occasion. Flint pockets the vial and meets your eye. You don't need stabilizer, do you? Flint moves away from the wall where they were resting against. I noticed you were different from the first moment we met, but I didn't realize what it was until now. The way you work, the way you move, without dependence. I see it now. Flint folds their arms. Tell them about the reboot. You tell them about the process you and Seraphin attempted on Darkseid, the one that Lane interrupted. They listen absent-mindedly, watching the workers instead of you. That's not all, though, is it? Flint meets your eye. There's something wrong with you. More than just your decaying frame. Your signal. Your presence. It smells different. I'm changing. I can see that. Flint looks you up and down, but I wonder what you're changing into. I know who I am, what I bring to this place. All of these people are at risk because of me. That means that you too are a risk. A risk to your crew, to me, and more importantly, to this place. Olivera will welcome you, the same way it welcomed me, and it will do so in spite of itself and its own safety. I want you to know that, because they will pay the cost, those close to you, and you must know they pay it for you. With that, Flint turns and glides away, leaving no space for a response. You watch them leave, their billowing cloak revealing and concealing the glinting and ragged parts of their exposed skeleton as they go. I didn't get a scrap component. Okay. The sound of raised voices echoes through the tunnel. Following them, you find yourself at the entrance to the clinic, where Flint and Xander are locked in a bitter argument. I won't take you out there, Flint. Xander is pleading with the sleeper. Look what happened to Carmen. They'll kill you. What happened to Carmen is exactly why I have to go. They will find me here, and when that happens, the whole colony can hear you too. Seraphin comes out of the clinic with cadence. You trying to wake up Carmen? You see Seraphin clock you, standing in the passageway. Your eyes meet and Seraphin looks away. Neither of you have seen each other since you brought Carmen back to Olivera. I'm trying to make sure what happened to Carmen doesn't happen to anyone else. Flint folds their arms. I'm the reason he's like he is, and that means it's on me to fix it. Wait in silence. Trying to be a hero, Flint? Seraphin squints at the sleeper. I'm trying to stop SNR from coming down to this place. Flint gives him a dark look. At the mention of SNR, Seraphin's eyes jump straight to you, and Flint follows his gaze, finding you waiting in the passageway. SNR, the company that created you, the company you escaped. The idea of them bearing down on this place sets your nerves on edge. You have long since slipped their grasp. Lane disabled your tracker in exchange for unwavering service, a gift that became a trap. But Flint is still on the run, and if SNR attacked Carmen's ship, they can't be far away. You look at Flint and you see the fear in their eyes. Your tracker is still active. Olivera is shrouded. Flint looks towards the center of the colony. Carmen managed to get a hold of a signal shroud and set it up here. He wanted to keep everyone safe. There's no way SNR can track me here. Am I missing something? Seraphine interrupts. If they can't find you here, what's the problem? It's not just about the tracker. That hunter found me in the debris field. They know I escaped. It's only a matter of time before their search brings them here. Silence falls on the group as the inevitability of the problem sets in. Xander looks distraught. You can't, Flint, Xander says in a quiet voice. They'll kill you. The problem is you wanna find them? Seraphine glances at you and Flint in turn, and you see his mind working on a solution. He looks away, frowning. I'm sorry, Xander. This is how it is. Flint looks dejected. Unless we get them first. Seraphine smiles an impish smile. Seraphine, what are you thinking? Cadence speaks up for the first time. We know there is a hunter out there scouring the shoals, and we know they are looking for you, Flint. Seraphine shrugs. That means we have the upper hand. We don't need to bring them here. We can bring them anywhere we want. Seraphine looks at the group. So we get set, we prepare a little surprise, and then we wait. Flint is already shaking their head. The hunter could arrive here at any moment. We don't have time for this. If I had a ship, I would have left already. Then we move you now. We take you somewhere we can prepare, and we work hard and fast to get an ambush set. When the hunter comes, Seraphine grins, we spring the trap. What kind of trap? That we still have to figure out, Seraphine admits. But you have to admit it beats going out to die without a plan. He shoots Flint a look. And hey, if we fail, the outcome will be the same anyway. Flint doesn't respond immediately. You can see them thinking it through, considering their options. I'm coming. Xander has a determined look on his face. We're doing this, and I'm coming. Look, kid, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but this is the real thing. A bounty hunter is not going to... Stop patronizing me, Xander cuts him off. I know the shoals. You need me out there. The conversation suddenly devolves into many small arguments. The location, who should go, how to approach the ambush, the noise grows. The old Solheim manufactory. Cadence's voice rises clear and precise through the noise. That's where you do it. It's on a rock far enough from here, and it's a real labyrinth. You can lead the hunter there and get them lost inside. The place is full of old machines, ordnance. We've been afraid to scavenge any of it, so it's unstable. You notice Seraphine watching Cadence speak, clearly impressed by this sudden shift towards decisive action. We could bring the whole place down on their head. He picks up Cadence's thread. I know the manufactory. It's a good idea. You look between those gathered. Seraphine, stubborn and protective. Cadence, sharp eyes. Xander's relentless desire to get involved. And Flint, a sleeper like you. A sleeper in need of an escape. Carmen was building something here. A shrouded haven. A place that needs protecting. He may be unconscious behind those doors, floating amongst the wires and tubes of the clinic, but something of him is here, in this group, making a plan of resistance. Flint's eyes meet yours, and you know what has to be done. The rig will leave Oliveira this cycle. You have a hunter to trap. Okay, but I also need to eat. Like, my engage is terrible. But I need energy. My intuit is not the best. Okay, we have one supplies. We need more than one. Okay. I know they said we have to leave this cycle. Okay, I have 4 dice. I should have not cared so much about the supplies and picked up another thing of scrap. But you know what? Yeah, I did that. I did that to myself. I have decent this kind and this kind, which means I think I'm gonna try cadet. Yep, we're doing this. Corroded plates, twisted struts, scattered scrap. The manufactory makes for a familiar sight. Just one more ragged artifact from the corporation that has once owned this system. Despite that, something about it sets you on edge. Perhaps because it will also form the crucible for your attempt to take on an Asin Arp hunter, the kind whose entire job is to bring in escaped sleepers like you, dead or alive. The rig is tucked behind a rock, running on low power with the transponder off. You hope that's enough to not draw attention. So, talk us through it. Seraphin turns back to Flint, Cadence, and Xander, all of whom are crammed into the cockpit, along with your crew. We have to make this place look like a colony. That's what the hunter will expect. Cadence suggests first, her voice quavering with a little anxiety. We can seal up some of the holes, maybe install some lighting, pick it up. Okay, Seraphin nods reassuringly. That's good. What then? We force them to go deep. Xander cuts in, and everyone looks at him. He pauses, a little intimidated by the intention, but Flint nods at him to continue. I've been out here before, on a salvage run. There's an assembly line that runs through the whole place, filled with old manufacturing machines. We seal doors, activate machines, make it a maze of malfunctioning construction arms and dead ends. Alright then, control their route. I like it. Seraphin smiles at Xander, and if we get lucky, maybe one of those old machines will do the job for us. I doubt it, Flint joins in. We need ordnance from the silos, mining charges, fuel, whatever's left from this place that was churning out Solheim goods. They're further out. We blow the place, to make sure. A silence passes through the cockpit, the danger of what you're about to attempt dawning on everyone present. Okay, Seraphin has a dark look. That's the plan. We can detonate the ordnance with a command from the rig, a simple wideband comm signal. We'll get them, Seraphin pats Flint on the shoulder. Once they go in, that hunter isn't coming back out. Anything we missed? What if they don't take the bait? Then I engage. Flint rubs their hands together nervously. I lead them in directly, right? Right, Seraphin confirms gently. How long do you think we have? There's a lot of factory down there. The hunter got to me and Carmen fast. Flint looks out of the cockpit. No more than 3 cycles. When the hunter came for us, Flint grimaces, remembering the attack on Carmen's ship. They came out of nowhere. They hit us hard and fast. If it wasn't for Carmen, we need to be ready for anything. Flint looks at you. There won't be a warning. Seraphin sighs. Nice pep talk. But you better find somewhere deep in that place down in the bedrock. But make sure it has a back door, okay? He nods at the sleeper. The rest of us will get to work. All right, you heard Flint. We do this and we do it right. We make our stand on this rock. Let's not waste a moment more. Okay. Storage silos. Oh my god. Why? I thought I was gonna have the... Oh, whatever. She has good engage. We're doing this with her. Like a true Spindlejack. Shit luck every time. Okay. Ugh. Okay. Come on, positive outcome. Yes. Go easy with that. Flint's voice rumbles over the local comms as you secure the final piece of ordnance. You turn to see them floating, backlit, in the entrance to the bay. One of many that you have rigged with ordnance deep in the manufactory. Down here, the dust and flecks of rust float through the beams of your lights, and the walls are bent and buckled. They've spent the past cycles here picking out a spot to draw the hunter down to. One they should be able to slip out of when the hunter finds their way in. It's a long time to be down in these dark tunnels waiting. Looks like we're just about done. Their voice is flat, their tone pragmatic. You okay? Flint nods, eager to be done with this. They look over their shoulder. However, it plays out. Flint glides into the bay slowly. There's something I need to tell you. Something I think you'll understand. What we are doing out here is not about saving me. It's about Oliveira. You struggle to see Flint's face with the light behind them. I should be on a ship out of there, leading this hunter away, but they won't let me do that. They shake their head in frustration, and even if they would, they can't spare the ship. Not after Carmen's got shot up. That was my mistake. I never should have let him persuade me to come with him on that supply run. Flint looks down. What's done is done. What matters now, what I need from you, is a promise. Flint's bright irises flash. That you'll bring this place down with me in it, if it means stopping the hunter. I promise. Flint nods. I knew you'd understand. You know as well as I that those who get close to us are at risk. That we, as sleepers, have to recognize that what we open the door to. Carmen is my fault. I won't be Oliveira's downfall too. With that, they turn and leave you in the dark. Come on. Fork. The hunter is gonna be... I'm not gonna... Ah. Wake up, sleeper. Seraphin is in the bunks. We've got incoming. You shake off the haze of forgotten dreams and get up. In moments, you're in the cockpit. Xander, Cadence, and Seraphin all gathered around the console. On it, the local view shows nothing, not a single ship signal, and a few objects beyond a scattering of debris. It was right here, I swear it. A ship small, but definitely a ship. Seraphin, Cadence sighs. We've all been up a while. Get some rest. I know what I saw. He catches her eye. You look at the screen, its gridded view showing the scattered signature of debris, like schools of fish drifting in a soft current. The manufactory is a noisy blob at the center of the circle, one that dissolves into the background at its edges. Nothing. And then there it is, a flicker, a flash, a spark of movement and light among one of the debris clouds. It flares and then is gone again. You look up, and Seraphin meets your eye. He reads your expression immediately. Seraphin slams a hand down on the console, opening up the comms channel. Look alive, Flint. They're coming in. Go deep and be ready to run. He pulls his hand off the switch. We better hope they heard that. Then you see it through the cockpit glass. The flare of an engine, faint and masked, but driving a squat, dark ship out of the debris, the Hunter. The ship seems to idle a little near the manufactory's asteroid, drifting past the dressed-up shell of an old facility. We didn't have enough time. Cadence nervously clasped her hands together. The Hunter isn't going to buy it. You look out into the ship. It does seem to be hesitating, keeping to the edge of the asteroid's radius, not wanting to approach the docks. If this place looks abandoned, the Hunter might just strafe the whole facility. We need them to dock, to come inside. You stare at the dark ship, willing it to move closer. Come on. Then you hear it, cracking through the wideband comms. Flint here. I'm nearing the deepest point of the facility. There's some serious ordnance down here. Should I go deeper? He's baiting the Hunter. Seraphin doesn't take his eyes off the ship. The reaction is immediate. The dark ship, shifting to the far side of the manufactory, it disappears out of view, descending through the framework of the facility shell. Shit, they're entering in at the side. We won't be able to track them. Seraphin punches the console in frustration. And we have no eyes on the assembline. No route sealed up. This isn't good, Sleeper. We don't know where the Hunter is, or where Flint is. We've got nothing. You look out the maze-like manufactory with its twisted and collapsed interior. It's a game of cat and mouse now. Hey, Cadence calls from the back of the cockpit. Where's Xander? As if on cue, Seraphin console flashes an airlock opening notification. He's going down. Seraphin looks at you. Xander's going down into the facility. Go. Cadence looks between you and Seraphin with a steely expression. I'll stay here. She glances nervously at the console. Give me the signal and I'll send the detonation signal. She swallows hard. If it works. Seraphin looks torn for a moment and then nods. Let's go. You rush down the airlock and suit up. Then you are out, descending through the rock-strewn void in tense silence. You enter the manufactory through a gap in the frame, passing through layers of twisted facility and into the deep parts, where you know Flint awaits in the dark. You say nothing to each other, afraid the comms will be intercepted. You lead Seraphin on, seeking the deep bays under the silos, where the ordnance waits for its detonation signal. If you can grab Xander, grab Flint, then clear the facility, this can all still work. Seraphin's hand falls on your shoulder, pulling you back. You go to speak, and then you see it. A torch beam lancing through the dark. The shadow shifting beneath a flickering light. A dark clad in military gear, a long gun held ready at their shoulder, deathly pale skin, and their eyes, gleaming through the faceplate, glowing irises. The Hunter, with eyes like you, like Flint. The Hunter is a sleeper. Below you, they rush through the dark and broken layers of the facility, seeking Flint. And where is Xander? Seraphin and you exchanged wide-eyed glances in silence. The Hunter passes below, disappearing into a dark passage. You wait together, the moment stretching out, then descend into that same passage. The silence is absolute. Suddenly, there's a flash of light ahead, bright and forceful, and a rumble that shakes rust flakes from the walls. You and Seraphin push off hard, gliding into the dark, desperate and afraid. You come into a low bay scattered with glowing embers. Scorched holes in the walls spew drops of red-hot metal where a weapon has been discharged. The hunter floats at the center, taking aim again. You see a flicker of movement from the far side, Flint retreating. Before you can act, a slight figure in a suit slams into the back of the hunter. Xander. As he hits, the hunter's gun spins out of their hand. We passed the check. You kick off away from Xander and the hunter as they grapple together, spinning in the dark towards a deep shaft of the far side of the bay. You spot the shape of the long gun as it spins ahead of you. As you reach it, your hand locking in around the sculpted grip, you spin and raise it. The first shot goes wide, burning a scorching hole in the bay wall. The second shot grazes the side of the hunter's suit in a flurry of sparks. They are thrown away from Xander, unable to find anything to slow their glide. The hunter disappears into the dark of the shaft, leaving a trail of embers in the dark. You see fear in Xander's eyes as they turn back to you. The muzzle of the gun smokes, glowing red. It is spent. I've got Flint, Seraphin calls over local comms. We ascend now. You look across the two of them, kicking off from the floor of the bay towards a ragged hole in the ceiling. You and Xander exchange a single glance and then follow. Cadence, Seraphin is on the wideband. Detonate this place now. Send the command. There is silence. You ascend through it, through the layers of the manufactory, seeking the open void of space beyond. You clear the manufactory, gliding into open space. A silent shockwave, like a gust of wind, runs through the void. The silent rumble spits out a scatter of debris. You turn back, still gliding towards the ship, and see the shattered manufactory. Whole sections are bending outward. The framework is shredded, plating tumbling away in shards. You look across at Seraphin and Flint, their eyes set on the ship, trying only to stay ahead of the debris. You do the same, fixing your attention on the rig and nothing else. The hunter is dead. You limp back to Olivera, the mood in the rig one of deep exhaustion. But as the colony appears visible from the cockpit, the satisfaction of having run a terrifying gauntlet and come back in one piece shifts the mood. The crew's improved mood only becomes more obvious as you draw closer to Olivera. As you come into dock with the colony, you feel a wave of relief. Seraphin pats you on the shoulder as you both wait for the airlock to open. That hunter, he sighs. SNARP is crueler than I could have imagined. What matters is that we dealt with him. Seraphin nods. We certainly did. The airlock hisses open, revealing the docking bridge where Xander first confronting you. This time, another, more substantial figure waits in the passage. I hear you're the ones I should be thanking for saving my life. Carmen leans against the side of the tunnel, one arm clamped against his waist. So, thank you. He nods at the two of you. Good to see you up. Happy to help. We have things to discuss. I'm sure we do, he smiles slyly. But let's not do that in a docking tunnel, shall we? Carmen! Cadence rushes past the two of you, gliding into Carmen with an embrace strong enough to leave the injured man off balance. All right, be careful. You don't want to put me back into the med bay now, do you? Carmen pushes Cadence back with a gentle grip on her shoulders. He flinches as he does, his joke clearly holding some truth. Sorry, Cadence smiles. Just glad to see you up. A frown crosses Carmen's face. Where's Xander? You losing your vision, old man? You look back to see Xander and Flint behind you in the tunnel. Xander smiles wildly at Carmen, betraying his happiness to see him. I'll be just fine, Xand. Carmen's words are confident, but his tone suggests he isn't convinced. You notice his hands are tightly balled into fists, as if resisting pain, and you wonder if he should really be up at all. Carmen turns to look at you and Seraphin. I think we need to talk. How about you two and Flint accompany me to the med bay? Carmen winks. Flint pushes past you both and goes to Carmen, helping him out of the tunnel. As he does, they exchange a few words, but you are too far away to make them out. You and Seraphin exchange glances and follow behind them into Oliveira. Carmen leads you to a small recovery chamber in the medbay. Where his bed is set up, a handful of tubes and wires float gently beside it, attached to boxy devices. Flint has already left the group, leaving just you and Seraphin with Oliveira's injured founder. Carmen meets your eye with a hard look. So, how did you two end up stumbling onto our colony out in the shoals? He raises an eyebrow, because we're not usually open to visitors. Ankita sent us to you. You see the flicker of recognition in Carmen's eyes when you mention Ankita. You produce the thumbnail drive, holding it out for Carmen to inspect. She told Sleeper to deliver this to you, and you alone. Seraphin folds his arms. Carmen pauses thoughtfully. That's a name I have not heard for a while. He takes the drive. It seems I should thank you again, he sighs, and perhaps I owe you some explanation myself. Ankita and I used to work together, a lifetime ago. Carmen shakes his head. We went our separate ways, but then she turned back up in Oliveira. I established this colony as a refuge, a way of starting again. Carmen clasps his hands together. The belt is changing, and I am afraid of what's coming. Ankita took refuge here for a short while. Then one cycle she was gone. Carmen shrugs. That's not unusual for her. Each of us has our own demons. He holds up the drive. I will take a look at what's on here when I'm able. He looks at the drive with concern, and I will let you know what I find. You and Seraphin thank him and leave the chamber as he settles back on his recovery bed. As you leave, Flint catches your attention. Can we speak? Seraphin pauses. I'll catch you back on the rig. He looks between the two of you and then glides away. Flint hovers, a look of concern on his mask-like face. What do you need? Flint gives you a curious look. You don't remember any of it, do you? Any of what? Of how you got here. Of your history. Flint screws up their face in a pained expression. At first I thought you were hiding something, or you were intentionally avoiding the subject, so I waited. But I understand it now. You don't remember me at all. Boy, I know you. You take a moment to think, to try to recall Flint. You furrow your brow in frustration, shifting through the hazy memories of Darkside, and further back, of your arrival to the belt. You close your eyes, and you see the faces of other sleepers, panicked, desperate, in darkness. I don't remember. We worked together in the same SNARP mining installation, along with other sleepers. He searches your eyes for a spark of recognition. We weren't close. I'm not sure we really spoke. Very few of us did. But I was there when we planned to escape together, to run to the freighter, collapsing the mine shaft. Flint stops, struggling to continue in the face of the blank look you are giving them. You feel an unpleasant itch, as if something is crawling around inside your skull. You can see that Flint wants you to recall them, to recall the escape, the installation, but you find only hazy sensations, and beneath them, pain. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. Flint looks down. I know you can't help it. I just needed to say something, to know if you really don't remember. Thank you for everything you've done for me and for Oliveira. Flint turns and drifts away dejectedly, unable to continue. As you watch Flint go, you scratch at the side of your head, trying to find something in the way they move, the way they speak, their mask-like face. A face that was identical to yours when it was first cast, but that, over cycle after cycle of wear and damage, has been transformed. Two machines, so close in form and function, estranged by experience. Ow, okay. Now I can fix my die. Okay, I guess it's time to end the cycle. Thanks for coming up, sleeper. Carmen is waiting for you and Seraphine when you arrive at the med bay. Looking a lot fresher. He leads you into a small alcove set up like an office, with an aging terminal on a simple welded desk and a small window up looking out across the dusty rock of Olivera. Got some news for us? Seraphine asks impatiently. Since you arrived back from the manufactory, he's been restless, though you aren't sure why. Not to worry. Carmen grinned slyly. I think you'll want to hear this. He hits a key on the terminal, and a file browser appears on the screen, showing hundreds of individual pieces of data. Ankita has been busy. Carmen gestures to the screen. She's been scrapping Utsubo communication cycle after cycle. Got access to ciphers and encryption that only the game's leadership should be able to see. He smiles. It seems like she learned some tricks since we worked together. But that's not what matters. What matters is the content of these messages. He taps a few keys, loads some of the data, which scrolls down the screen. Some parts of Utsubo leadership have been getting ideas. Ideas about taking the green belt and controlling food production in the belt. About exerting power over Wellspring. Big ideas for a gang. But these Utsubo members aren't alone. They found themselves a powerful ally. Carmen shakes his head. Senate Stat. Senate Stat. One of two corporations fighting a bitter battle for control of the inner system. A pernicious force. One that Utsubo are opening a door for in the belt. You can't be serious, Seraphine cuts in. They can't be that stupid. I don't know what to tell you. At least someone inside Utsubo is trying to broker a partnership. Who? Seraphine leans over to look at the screen. You don't need Carmen's answer, and neither does Seraphine. Lane. Seraphine looks at you, shaking his head. It has to be Lane. Carmen looks between you both. Seems like you already know something I don't. Lane is a piece of shit Utsubo leader who thinks he owns us. Seraphine shakes his head. Exactly the kind of piece of shit arrogant enough to try to manipulate Senate Stat. Carmen nods thoughtfully. My condolences. I'm starting to see how you cross paths with Ankita. Why is Ankita telling you this? Like I said, Ankita and I worked together. To put it simply, we ran in the same mercenary outfit. Carmen looks away. A lot has happened since then, but this message, this data, it's her calling in a favor. I owe her, that's for sure. Carmen shakes his head and pushes himself off from the desk, crossing the room to look out the window at Olivera's pale, airless surface. Hell, after what went down, I owe you both too. You look at Carmen staring out at the surface of this hostile rock and wonder what he sees out there. He established the colony as a fallback, a retreat, not just for him, for others too. But you get the feeling Carmen knows any retreat is only ever temporary. He turns back to look at you. And you, sleeper? What will you do? We will take on Utsubo. Take on a gang? Carmen smiles. Are you sure about that? We are going to end Lane, whatever it takes. Seraphine stares down at Carmen, fist-balled. Carmen looks at you. This one is going to get you in trouble. He turns to Seraphine. But I like the energy. He looks back out the window. This is not something we are going to take head on. He shakes his head. Ankita sent us our weapon. Carmen turns and gestures at the console screen with its reams of incriminating data. Utsubo don't control all of Darkseid. They only aspire to. They also claim to offer protection from the war between Senate-Stat and Conway. That presents us with an opportunity. Utsubo is full of members who'd rather die than concede Darkseid to a corporate interest. We play this right. Utsubo will end Lane for us, to use your phrase. We leak the data? Not leak, Carmen frowns. This is delicate, tricky. There are a lot of ways this can play out badly for all of us. We can handle it. We've cracked Darkseid once. We can do it again. Seraphine's confidence is infectious. Is that right? Carmen seems to be thinking something through. He crosses to the console, back to the window, and then to the console once more. All right, I'm going to need some time, but I can put this together. Carmen nods at Seraphine. We need that energy, but you also need to be ready. Why rush this? We rush this? It's not ending well. I can wait. Carmen turns his attention to you. We'll go from Greenbelt when you're ready. I have friends there who can help get that ship of yours to Darkseid. We have our own preparations to make, but we'll be ready. Alright. Carmen unplugs Ankita's drive and hands it to you. Take this and get out of here. I don't want anyone finding this in my possession. You take it. The tiny drive somehow heavier now that you know it contains the key to exposing Lane. See you in Greenbelt. See you in the wheat sheaf. Carmen smiles to himself. They know me there. Just understand something. You want my help on this. There's no way we can let it get back to the colony. Once you leave here, you're not coming back to Olivera. Not until we are done. He meets your eye. He needs confirmation that you recognize the importance of this. I understand. Carmen nods. Then you can go. He returns to the window to stare at whatever it is he sees out there amongst the dusty rocks. When you come back to the rig, Flint is waiting for you. Leaning by the docking tunnel with a bag over their shoulder, they look up as you approach. Hey, Flint nods a greeting, appearing a little unsure. Hey, I know you've already done a lot for me, so I'm not going to push you or ask for your pity. They pause. You feel like they've been preparing this speech. Firstly, I owe you, and I want to pay you back. I can work and I can fight, and I will protect this ship and this crew with everything I have. Secondly, we come from the same place, and whether you remember it or not, that means something. It must. I know I'm not the easiest to get on with. I know you might have your reservations about having another sleeper on the ship, but let them finish. I'm eager, I'm ready, and I want to move on, and I want to show my value. They pause. And well, yeah, I think that's it. You look at Flint. Their frame's so much more damaged than yours, but with the fire burning in their eyes, that makes them seem bigger than they are. Welcome aboard. A smile spreads across Flint's face, and they look down to hide it. Thank you, they say to the floor. This'll work out. You'll see. Flint nods to you once more, and then turns and glides down the docking tunnel towards the ship. As they do, two figures at the edge of the docking concourse catch your eye. You pause to look, shifting a little. As you do, you recognize Cadence leading in. Some words are exchanged, ones you can only guess at, and then another figure embraces Cadence and then turns back to the ship. As Seraphin approaches, he ducks his head, passing quietly past you into the docking tunnel without a word. You take one last look out at the docks, but Cadence is gone. You idle a moment longer and feel there's something, some presence, even in these empty bays. Something rare and all the belt that Oliveira has captured. But as with all things, you must learn to leave it behind. Nice. Very good. Okay. Okay. Right now, I'm pretty sure it saved when I got here. So we're gonna have to be done now. Because I'm getting tired, my voice is starting to crack, and I really need to blow my nose, but I don't feel like muting myself to do so. And I've been sipping water, but it's not helping. So I just have to stop talking. Thank you everybody for coming and listening to me play Citizen Sleeper 2. I was hoping I would feel like I've gotten somewhere further in here, but I've only been at it for 13 hours, so that's why. Let me see if there's anyone I can throw you at. And if there's not, then we're just gonna go. Okay, well, right now there is a Cece playing Final Fantasy Tactics, or Keach is playing Borderlands. But no, I'm starting to get really, really funny sounding. Maybe I'll just go. Yeah, I think I need to go now. Again, thank you everybody for coming. Please remember to stretch your horrible human limbs so that they can retain their full range of motion. Drink some water. Your body requires regular hydration. And also consume some nutrients so that your body can replace its cells. Unless, of course, you're a bot, in which case, I don't know what to tell you. Defrag. Alright. Goodbye, everybody. Oh, yeah. And if you're going to bed soon like I am, don't forget to brush your teeth and floss once a day.